There's a physician in Dallas bringing home $400,000 a year. She's got a luxury lease, her kids are enrolled in a $50,000 per year private school, and her weekend dinners alone cost more than most people's monthly grocery bill. On the surface, she looks like the definition of financial success. But if her car broke down tomorrow and the repair bill came to $6,000, she'd have to put it on a credit card. Not because she's irresponsible, not because she's uneducated, but because every single dollar she earns is already spoken for before it ever lands in her account. This is not a rare story. This is not an edge case. According to research from Goldman Sachs, more than 40% of Americans earning between $300,000 and $500,000 annually are living paycheck to paycheck, and for those crossing the $500,000 mark, the number barely drops. We are talking about 4 out of every 10 people earning more money in a single month than most American families earn in an entire year, and they have essentially nothing left over. So if you've ever said to yourself, I just need to earn more and everything will be fine, I need you to stay with me for this entire video, because what I'm about to show you could completely change how you think about money forever. Before we dive in, if this is your first time on this channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button right now because we talk about the real financial conversations that most people are too afraid to have. If this video hits different for you, drop a like so we can get this in front of more people who need to hear it. And drop a comment below telling me what your biggest financial challenge is right now. I read every single one. Now, let's get into it. So what exactly is the high-income poverty trap? It's the phenomenon where a person or household earns an objectively high income, but consistently has little to nothing to show for it financially. No meaningful savings, no real investments, a net worth that doesn't come close to matching the income level, and, ironically, the same level of financial anxiety that someone earning a third of their salary experiences. The trap works because of one deceptively simple mechanism called lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is what happens when your spending rises in proportion to your income, rather than staying fixed while your income grows. When you were making $50,000 a year, you ate lunch at a sandwich spot around the corner. Now that you're making $200,000, you're doing $25 salads and sit-down lunches 3 times a week. When you made $60,000, you drove a Honda Civic with a car payment under $400 a month. Now you're leasing a German luxury vehicle for $800 a month. Each individual upgrade seemed reasonable. You earned a raise, you rewarded yourself, you got the promotion, you leveled up the lifestyle. But here's the problem. Each of those upgrades stacks on top of the last one. And before long, your entire income is locked into maintaining a lifestyle that requires every dollar you earned just to sustain it. There's no margin, no buffer, no savings, just an expensive hamster wheel that spins faster the more you earn. And what makes it so dangerous is that it doesn't feel like a problem while it's happening. It feels like success. It looks like success to everyone around you. The bigger house, the nicer car, the annual international vacation, the kids in private school. Society tells you this is what financial success looks like. But what society doesn't tell you is that the plumber down the street who drives a 10-year-old pickup truck and takes one modest vacation a year just crossed $2 million in net worth. While you, the attorney making $350,000 annually, have a net worth of less than your annual salary. Let's talk about how this actually shows up in the numbers because I want you to see how stark the contrast is. The average American personal savings rate as of late 2025 sits at around 3.6%. That means for every $100 in disposable income, most Americans are saving less than $4. High earners are not dramatically different. Someone making $300,000 a year saving 4% is putting away $12,000 annually. That sounds like a lot in raw numbers, but relative to their income and the lifestyle they've built, it's almost nothing. Compare that to the behavior of people who actually build generational wealth. Research consistently shows that real wealth accumulators invest a minimum of 15% of their income. And they do it first before they pay for anything else. They automate it. It's non-negotiable. Let me show you what the math looks like over time. If you earn $300,000 annually and save 30%, you're putting $90,000 away every year. Over 20 years with average market returns of around 7%. That grows to approximately $4 million. Now take the same income, same returns, same timeline, but a 5% savings rate. You're looking at roughly $650,000. The difference between a 5% saver and a 30% saver on the same income is $3.35 million. That is the real cost of the high-income poverty trap, and it's paid silently, in slow motion, over decades. Now let me talk about some specific examples of how financial discipline breaks down for high earners, because I think seeing this in concrete terms makes it impossible to ignore. Take a household with 2 working professionals, maybe a lawyer and a corporate director, pulling in a combined income of $450,000. Their mortgage on a home in a desirable suburb runs $5,200 a month. They have 3 car payments between them, totaling $2,200. 2 kids in private school at $30,000 each per year. A vacation property with a carrying cost of $1,500 a month. Club membership, gym, multiple streaming platforms, weekly restaurant dinners, frequent flights for work and pleasure. By the time you add it all up, they are committing somewhere between $350,000 and $400,000 annually just to maintain their current lifestyle. They aren't saving enough to weather a serious financial disruption, a job loss, a health crisis, a market downturn, and the whole structure starts to collapse. And here's what makes it psychologically brutal. You can't just cut it overnight. If you pull your kids from private school mid-year, that's traumatic for them. If you sell the vacation property in a down market, you might take a significant loss. If you downgrade the cars, there are lease penalties. The lifestyle calculus makes every exit painful, which is exactly why people stay in the trap. They keep earning, keep spending, keep justifying, and keep hoping the next raise solves the problem. But the next raise never solves the problem because the spending adjusts to meet the new income within 6 months. I also want to address social comparison because it is absolutely fuel on this fire. We live in an era where people's highlight reels are available to us 24/7. You see your colleague's European vacation on Instagram. You see your neighbor's brand new renovation. You see the people in your professional circle driving certain cars and wearing certain brands. And there's an invisible pressure to match that, to look the part, to keep up. Goldman Sachs explicitly identified this pressure as a primary driver of paycheck to paycheck living among 6-figure earners. The Joneses aren't just next door anymore. They're in your pocket at all times. And keeping up with them is slowly bankrupting people who earn more money than 90% of the country. Here's the counterintuitive truth that research on actual millionaires reveals. Genuine wealth builders look nothing like the people who appear wealthy. Multiple studies on everyday millionaires show that the majority live in average neighborhoods, drive modest vehicles, avoid flashy displays of wealth, and budget carefully even after they've crossed the $1 million threshold. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest humans on the planet, still lives in the same house he purchased in 1958. Not because he can't afford something else, but because he understands the difference between appearing wealthy and being wealthy. Most people who look wealthy are actually financing that appearance. Most people who actually are wealthy don't look the part. There's a formula I want you to apply to your own situation right now. Take your age and multiply it by your annual pre-tax income. Then divide that number by 10. That result is roughly what your net worth should be if you've been building wealth at a healthy pace. A 45-year-old earning $250,000 should have approximately $1.1 million in net worth. Run your own numbers. Be honest. If you're dramatically below that threshold, you may already be caught in the trap, and the longer you stay in it, the more expensive the escape becomes. Now, I do want to be clear about something. This isn't about living like a monk. It's not about depriving yourself of things you love. It's about intention. The critical distinction between people who build wealth and people who stay broke at high incomes is whether their spending is deliberate or automatic. Wealthy builders spend on what genuinely matters to them and cut ruthlessly on everything else. They make conscious trade-offs. They decide what their money is for and they stick to that decision. High-income poor people spend automatically. They buy the car because people at their income level drive that car. They join the club because their colleagues are members. They do the private school because that's what you do in their neighborhood. Their spending is driven by external expectations and social signaling rather than personal values and financial goals. So what does breaking out of this trap actually require? 3 things. First, Brutal honesty about where your money is currently going. Not a vague estimate, a real audit. Pull the last 3 months of bank and credit card statements and categorize every single expense. Most people who do this for the first time are genuinely shocked. Second, automate your savings before lifestyle has a chance to consume them. Decide on a percentage, set up automatic transfers on payday, and build your life around what remains. This is the single most powerful behavioral shift available to anyone. Distinguish between fixed costs and actual values. Every expensive recurring commitment in your life needs to earn its place. Not because someone at your income level has it, but because it genuinely adds meaningful value relative to its cost. The high-income poverty trap is not a character flaw. It is a structural problem that emerges naturally when income rises faster than financial awareness. The good news is that awareness itself is the first step out. The physician in Dallas making $400,000 doesn't have a money problem. She has a money behavior problem. And behavior, unlike income, is fully within your control starting today. You don't need a raise to build wealth. You need the discipline to keep a portion of what you already earn. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much comes in. What matters, what has always mattered, is how much you keep.